Off to visit the Jezreel Tower, as it's called, at Gillingham in Kent. It was built to commemorate the Israelite monarchy of King Ahab's time, and its owner was known as the leader of the Jezreelites. It was his intention, so they say, to gather together the lost tribes of Israel and shelter them in the tower house. It's built entirely of fireproof material, presumably to withstand the fire on the Day of Judgment.
Jezreel's tower was built on Chatham Hill in Medway at the end of the 19th century by a religious cult known as the Jezreelites. The construction of the building was beset by dramas, including Jezreel's own death, followed by that of his charismatic wife Clarissa Rogers, known as Queen Esther, in 1888, which precipitated the collapse of the cult. The building stood as a relic until it was finally demolished in 1961. So famous was the tower during most of the 20th century that it featured as one of the UK's best-known landmarks in a series of advertising posters for Shell Oil, here illustrated by Tristram Hillier in 1937 and featuring on numerous postcards of Gillingham. Where the tower once stood, a road is now named in memory of the cult, and the building's footprint still casts a shadow over the site to this day. The Jezreelites were followers of James Jershom Jezreel, born James Rowland White, a former soldier who, on returning from India on a boat to Chatham Dockyard, discovered the religious writings of John Rowe and Joanna Southcott. He soon joined a local Southcottian sect known as the New House of Israel, eventually to break off and lead a new branch in his own name. Jezreel believed that the lost tribes of Israel resided in England, what at the time was known as British Israelism, and that he had been ordained by God, as the sixth trumpeter, to spread the word and gather the people together to protect them during the Day of Judgment. Jezreel's tower was an ambitious home for the chosen people, who by prophecy were deemed to number 144,000. And although the building was only designed to house 5,000, Jezreel determined the building should be a cube measuring 144 feet in each direction. However, his architect had other plans for practical reasons, and the final structure measured 124 feet on each side and 120 feet in height. The structure was made of steel, clad in fireproof yellow brick and inlaid with panels depicting important motifs from the Jezreelite imagination, which borrowed heavily from the Bible and Judaica, the flying roll, the crossed swords, and the Prince of Wales feathers. The basement of the building housed presses used to print the sect's proselytic newspaper. A circular hydraulic floor in the centre of the building was designed to move up and down for preachers and a choir. Woodlands, a farm nearby, was Jezreel's home during construction of the tower, and a row of shops on the site housed businesses run by members of the cult, including a bakery and an ironmonger, which stood until 2008.